One of the poorest states in Mexico is the state of Guerrero. That's the productivity per worker in the state of Guerrero. If I multiply it by 2, the productivity of the state of Guerrero, I get to the state of Sinaloa. The state of Guerrero has a productivity like that of Honduras. The state of Sinaloa has a productivity like that of Jamaica. If I multiply by 2 the state of Sinaloa, I get to the state of Guanajuato, which has a productivity like that of Malaysia. And if I multiply by 2 the state of Guanajuato, I get to the state of Nuevo León, which has a productivity slightly higher than that of Korea. So with the same legal framework, the same federal judicial system, the same political representation system, the same exchange rate, the same interest rate, the same macroeconomic setup, the same financial architecture, you get a Korea and you get a Honduras. My main claim is that the difference in the wealth of nations and regions has to do with technology. And that technology does not move from place to place, not because institutions are bad. Obviously, good institutions would help. But technology does not diffuse because of technology. Technology is, number one, embodied knowledge in tools. It's tools, materials, right? You don't need to know how to make something. You just need to have it and use it. You don't need to know how to make a cell phone in order to use a cell phone. You just need to have the cell phone. The second thing that technology is codes, blueprints, protocols, how-to-do manuals, routines. We call that codified knowledge. Unfortunately, to implement technology, you need tools, you need codes, but you also need know-how. And know-how can only exist in brains. And the problem of that is that, you can say that Rafa Nadal knows how to play tennis. But talking to Rafa Nadal does not improve your tennis game, right? So that's not how know-how moves. Know-how moves very slowly from brain to brain through a long process of imitation, repetition, imitation, repetition. The problem with modern technology is that it doesn't require just one person with know-how. It requires complementary teams. So you can say that, this guy knows how to fly a plane, but a person doesn't really fly a commercial plane. To fly a commercial plane effectively, you need all these other people. And these people know about different things. The captain doesn't know about air traffic control. He doesn't know about mechanics. He doesn't know about many of the other things. In order to implement this technology, you need teams with complementary know-how that is able to put the technology to work. Production is like a game of Scrabble, okay? Where products are like words, and they are made by putting letters together. Think of these letters as units of know-how or individual capabilities, right? And so the first thing that you realize in the game of Scrabble is that if you have one letter, there aren't too many words you can make. But if I give you these 3 letters, now you can make 4 words. And you can make words that are 3 letters long. What I'm trying to do is develop a map of technology, a map of how products are made, where it's going to be a forest where every product is a tree, and trees that are near each other are related, so it's easier to move from one to the other. So products are going to differ in 2 important dimensions. One is, how long are the words? How complex is the product? How many letters you need to have to be able to make it? So that's the complexity. And the other one is the connectedness. That is, if you know how to make a product, how many products do you have nearby? How dense is the forest around that tree? And you see immediately that manufacturing is going to be different from other sectors because manufacturing is typically much more connected. So if you develop the capacity to manufacture something, it is relatively easier to start manufacturing other things. Now, what is a country in this metaphor? I've shown you the forest. What is a country? And I'm going to say that a country is a collection of firms. It's a collection of companies. So in this metaphor, a company, and I don't want to insult you, a company is like a monkey that lives on a tree, lives off a tree, lives from exploiting a certain product. So now that we have the forest, I can describe a country as where it has its monkeys in the forest. So, do monkeys jump? Well, and how do they jump? Well, let me compare Ghana with Thailand here. These two countries started at a similar level of income back in 1962. And in fact, Ghana invested in education faster than Thailand. And Ghana had the advantage that the education that they were teaching was in English, while Thailand was teaching in Thai, and obviously Ghana had the advantage of having taught in the lingua franca of the world. So you might have expected with more education they should have done better. Now, if you look at the monkeys, you can ask yourself, what did Ghana know how to do back in 1965? And this was Ghana's exports in 1965. It was cocoa, wood, and some mineral products. I can look at what Thailand was making in 1965, sort of same colors, but more diverse. It was rice, corn, vegetables, sugar, rubber, jute, etc., some mineral products, okay? So, more diverse in agriculture, but not all that different in colors. So in 65, there's one little monkey next to the garment cluster on the right. Now you have these two guys there, and boom, they start populating that cluster, and boom, they took over that cluster, Thailand on the right garments. And now they have, in 1980, they have two monkeys in the electronics cluster on the left. And now by 1990, they've taken over the whole electronics cluster, and they're starting to move into the middle cluster of machinery. And this is Thailand's exports now. See, it's completely changed in the nature of the products that they have become good at. And this is what happened to their exports per capita. It's not that they abandoned anything that they were doing before, they're all there, but they added a bunch of stuff that was not there. They became good at things that were not there before. And as a consequence, Thailand became 7 times richer than Ghana in this period, even though they lagged on the educational front. Manufacturing has been a critical element in the development of countries because it is in a dense part of the forest. It allows you to get into business by developing some capabilities, and then you can restructure those capabilities into other things. And it is this characteristic of manufacturing that it's sort of like a stairway to heaven, allows you to increase your letters more parsimoniously, that makes it such a promising avenue to go forward.